to hello everyone and no one, and welcome to another Talking Into the Void. Who knows this is gonna go? I've got a couple things we can talk about. We were going on some other random shit of the country and that, but with me as always is Tier Alexander. Tier, how you doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
Oh, not so bad. And with us as always is Angela. Angela, how you doing?
I built things.
Yay.
Making a return appearance, and there goes my dryer. Making a return appearance is James. James, how you doing?
It could be worse. How are y'all?
Oh, not so bad. Join us again, Mitch Nemo. Mitch, how you doing?
Hunky dory.
And then round us out to an even six, Will at Forge. Will, how you doing today?
The Void is alive and mostly well.
I do find it funny that basically me and Will had very similar experiences today. Planned on going to the gun range. Ended up oversleeping. Decided not to go to the gun range because of oversleeping. Okay, instead of going to the
decided
whole...
not to have Daytona because of rain, so you're okay.
It's also like where I'm at, or it was around the time frame, about 34 degrees Fahrenheit. So I don't think we have any people who use non-freedom units, but that's like 1 to 2 degrees Celsius.
Look, it's cold. I don't do cold.
I have a note here actually from the International Northerners Association. It says "fuck winter."
Exactly.
I typically don't mind that. It was 21 degrees on Saturday around my house and my folks' house when I went to visit them.
That's too cold.
Well, and the cold inhibits some of the projects I want to get started.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for being cold, California cold.
California cold is like a spring cold. It's not quite cold.
It's not cold to you.
But y'all don't know cold. So California cold is like swimsuit weather in Michigan.
Look, I know cold and I know hot, so
Look,
I've been to both places.
As have I, and I have to agree with what Samuel Clemens said. Mark Twain.
Yes.
I know.
He wrote that July in San Francisco was the coldest winter he'd ever experienced. And it's true. It gets frightfully fucking cold there because of all that air blowing in from the north and off the ocean with essentially nothing to stop it except the buildings.
The wind chill.
Well, I still remember being down in New Mexico, and where I was at still got snow, but since it was the plateau of the U.S., all it does is drift until something finally gets in the fucking way.
Yep.
And it was funny one summer saying to a couple of the guys there, being like, "It's fucking hot out," and they're like, "Taka doesn't think it's hot because Taka's from Africa," and I'm like, so Taka's the decider on that. And I'm like, if Taka's the decider on that, since I'm one of the few people that's from the furthest north and knows winters, I get to tell you when it's fucking cold. Shut up! Then shut the fuck up. It's hot to me, bitch.
Yeah, y'all were talking about experiencing cold and hot. Well, I've seen fire and I've seen rain.
Well, your state only has two.
I've seen naked women in Spain. Wait. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of a different poem.
Not the words to that song, but okay.
Well, you know what?
That would never end.
I miss the rains down in Africa.
I bless the rain down in Africa.
Oh boy.
Sorry.
Go back.
No.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Tier's
I've never been.
Tier's not trying to take part of Blacksit.
Fuck that shit. I'm happy to stay here. I will help those. If any black person want to go back to Africa, I will help you pack.
I got it. That reminds me of Carlos, a guy I used to work with. This was in California, and so yeah, there was a significant Mexican population.
Yes.
You don't say.
And yeah, exactly. And Carlos was the last generation born in Mexico. He immigrated with his parents to California, and he was just he was what do you call patriotic? He loved America. So when a bunch of his neighbors and other people he and his family knew from Mexico would start yarping about fuck America, this place sucks and all that shit. And he would chime in, fuck you, man.
You
You
know
don't
what the
like
fuck
it
you
here,
talking
go
about?
back to where you came from.
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, that's like
It's
every
fucking
time.
awesome,
Every
man.
time I've seen one of those freaking things to where the person like, "Are you gonna pay for my ticket?" Look, I'm not required to pay for your ticket, bitch. I mean, I might put in a couple bucks or whatnot, but I also don't have to do all the. I think it was the dumbass bitch like, oh, "I wouldn't mind living in Germany," and it's just like, no. You understand? If you're asking for someone else to pay for your ticket, you don't have a choice of where you're going if they're buying it.
That's
Hell
right.
yeah.
Which means
I'm
you're
going
probably going to
Wherever they
Korea.
send you.
I'm going
North
to send your
Korea.
ass to. I'm going to send your ass to China. Fuck
See,
all that
What's
shit.
the furthest north I can send someone?
Siberia. Enjoy Russia, bitch.
I find it endlessly amusing that these people who and this is celebrities now, who if so and so gets elected, I'm leaving America. Yeah, go ahead. Get the fuck out there.
Again,
What are you why are you waiting? Why are you waiting?
This is-
Go. Just
this is
fucking
why
go.
I ask. I always ask, do you need help forwarding your mail somewhere? Because I will fill out the paperwork for you.
Do you need help packing? I will help you pack.
Now, when
shit.
it's someone who doesn't have the same financial resources as a celebrity to do such a thing, I have a different thing in mind.
You don't have
say,
it.
well, why don't you start a GoFundMe and see if we can't send you to the tyranny that best supports your politics?
Oh, you're much nicer than I am. I blatantly call out when they're the ones who are like, "Well, I can't afford it." That's because you lack the actual personal constitution and discipline to do what's necessary to go there. Instead, you just whine and bitch and complain, saying that it's somebody else's fault and that they should pay for it for yourself. You don't want to do anything. You just want to sit
I
and
can't
bitch.
afford it. Oh, it sucks to not be goal oriented, doesn't it?
Do you guys remember
I
a
feel
while back?
judged.
Wait a minute. A while back, we read an article on the Midnight Show about Jill Scott and how she wanted to go to like fucking Sweden. You know, and I'm like, I don't think she's moved yet, and it's been
Let her
maybe
go
2-3 years.
there. She's not gonna like it there either.
And the best part is these people are so racist they always want to go to Canada, which is basically America light.
Because
You know.
they're hop, skipping, and
And
jumping.
the fucked up part is they're gonna find out real quick how little freedoms they have in a certain area, in a lot of areas.
Not only
And-
that,
Well,
they're
there's-
going to find
there's-
out real quick that Canada won't take them because
Yeah,
Canada
that's
actually has rules for entry.
They actually have a really harsh entry
Yeah.
program.
Canada and Mexico both have much stricter rules for entry than the United States is supposed to be allowed to have.
Right. The only thing stopping the invasion of the United States from becoming a minute to minute issue, and I would argue that it is now, but that's not the point I'm making. The only thing that keeps it from being as intense as it should be is the fact that we have oceans on two sides of us and well, I guess there are no Mexicans in Canada.
Oh, there's a couple.
No Mexicans.
No,
that's-
there
that's
are-
an unfair statement.
There
to be honest.
are legitimately, I would guarantee, a couple Mexicans in Canada. If I said Mexico is in Canada,
There's no Mexicans.
It's an unfair thing to say that about Mexicans though, because I actually think the Mexican people are probably decent, upstanding people.
They are.
oh yeah,
We
the
just-
cartels
we-
are who are fucking terrible.
Yeah, the cartels
Did
and
you know?
the politicians, just like in every other fucking country,
Yeah.
Did you
are
know
the absolute shit.
in Mexico, if you were to immigrate too, you can never own property near a body of water that's reserved for the naturalized citizens?
I can't hear. What do you say, James?
need to do something with your mic, babe.
Get it out your mouth.
I
It's
think you
not
said
a
that
big-
Okay, is that
if
better?
you immigrate to Mexico, you can't own property on a body of water, they reserve that for citizens or
Yeah,
something. Then there's
Yes.
Jesse the Body Ventura, who lives in the Baja.
He
But,
has a
like I
conspiracy
said-
theory, brother.
I can't do a good Jesse Ventura, but Jesse Ventura lives in the Baja.
I think he was saying freshwater though, because I know people
maybe.
that
yes,
own
okay.
houses.
like on
like-
along the coast or near a lake or anything like that. Any of the nicer properties. If you were to immigrate to Mexico, you would not be able to own land near those areas.
Good
I
thing I
find
don't
Well-
plan to immigrate to Mexico.
To go on to a different little thing, instead of talking about immigration and just pissing ourselves off and everything, we'll go to a different form of politics and that. So who else has been seeing all the shit about Starship Troopers on Twitter?
I haven't. Why is Starship Troopers?
Because
Are you
of
following it.
apparently
I've
because
seen pictures of Diz. Sorry.
apparently because of I get some game that came out. I think it's like Helldiver 2 or some shit.
Oh,
They're bringing up the whole thing of how Starship Troopers the movie was supposed to be, the intent when it was made was not to follow the source material but to make it a satire of fascism. And
yes.
the problem was the execution was absolute dog shit. Because every time they're like, well, it's supposed to be a satire of fascism. It's like, then what? That doesn't make much sense of being like, oh yeah, this is a fascist country that has freedom of press, freedom of movement for citizens. Everything you can do. You might have to apply to try to do certain things, to where it's going to be easier to do if you enlist in the military.
It was co-ed showers. Rico's father was it Rico? Johnny Rico, yeah. Johnny Rico's father looked like he was well off, and he didn't want his son to go into the military service. So clearly he wasn't a militay man.
Yeah.
But they
Successful business person.
yeah.
Very
That's not. That doesn't sound like fascism. A woman wanted to have babies. That's why she joined the service.
Yeah, and
Clearly,
it wasn't because she couldn't have babies that way. It just made it easier to get the licensing for it.
Right.
yes. And there was clearly upward mobility. I mean, some of the rules kind of were fucked up. Like if you failed the test, your instructor got punished too.
Yeah, and then there was the whole thing as well of them being like, well, because the humans were the invaders. Okay, if you actually follow the proper story, it was a Mormon settlement that moved onto a planet that had bugs on it that they were, or, the alien bugs they were told not to get onto. And technically, after the bugs did destroy that colony, there was no actual repercussions from the Federation until further things were brought on. And that's when the war started.
Yeah, and there was only one. I believe Heinlein only made one book, and then everything after that just was created afterwards, like without source material, and it just devolved from there.
Wasn't that a Paul Verhoeven film?
I
Yes.
don't
I believe
remember.
so.
I just know that the way the book was, it was actually more about hey, nuclear power is a good thing, and we should be fucking using it, and scientists shouldn't be so prissy ass bitches about it.
Let's see. The only problem with nuclear is that, as a power source, is that it caught a lot of flack from being also used as a weapons platform,
Well,
or as a
Chernobyl
yeah,
meltdown.
yeah, I know, but look, Chernobyl did not melt down before Starship Troopers. 3 Mile Island didn't happen before Starship Troopers, and already the scientists were crying about nuclear energy. Hey, Green Badger.
Yo, Green.
And I think nuclear energy got a bad rap initially because of its use as a weapon. Then when 3 Mile Island happens and Chernobyl happens, and that's because someone didn't do their fucking job, essentially, or shortcuts were taken in construction and things of that nature. It wasn't because of the nuclear energy itself. It's very much like a firearm. They don't get up off the table, run outside, drive to a school, and start shooting.
I'd kill somebody.
What? What? Hold on. That you're telling me that the gun didn't shoot those kids?
That's right.
Heresy. Mitch, you're lying. You're a liar, Mitch. I can't believe you.
It's some pro-tyranny jackass who shot those kids. The gun is an innocent bystander.
But the gun gets the blame.
No, it seriously, it is an innocent bystander. Just look, if someone chops off your leg and goes and beats someone else to death with it, are you liable?
Yes, that is your leg he's beating someone to death with.
I'm not arguing that. I just got a visual of somebody questioning a gun.
I'll return in a couple minutes.
Ooh.
I have to move some laundry from the washer to the dryer and also hang some of it up. So please continue talking, and I'll be back in a minute.
But like
Just a second here, Mitch. I'm unfortunately a very visual person.
Okay.
So there are things you're going to say that are going to make me chuckle, not because I disagree with what you're saying.
Oh,
but
I
because of
understand completely.
What pops into my head when you say that?
I was laughing uncontrollably at something. Oh, I'm not going to share it, or at least I'm not going to share it on screen because I don't want to. I don't want to piss on this lady's work. Okay.
Okay.
But she's playing the themes from the assorted Star Trek TV shows and productions, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
On an electric violin, and sorry, you know how when musicians perform, they get into what they're doing, and the look on
Yes.
her face, I spotted it right away. Look on her face is if you were to watch it without sound, you would be thinking she's trying really hard and failing to make a sexy face.
Oh boy.
And it is once you see it in that context, it is incredibly tragic, and you can't watch anymore because I was laughing too hard. I had to turn it off. But I will put it in the Discord server for you to look at.
Oh, good.
Thanks.
Let me do a little digging here first. It is so bad. My God, it's terrible. Just jump a couple of minutes in from the beginning.
Where'd you put it?
I haven't put it anywhere yet. I'm thinking of where.
Probably in general on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking you're probably right. Okay. Just don't share it on stream because like I said, I don't want to piss on the lady's work.
Which means she must have been really good. You just can't watch
Oh, she can
play.
play. It's just I was
Yeah,
I was apparently watching it in the wrong frame of mind.
Yeah, she's definitely good.
Yeah, she is. She.
Am I right in my description?
Yes. She.
I can't watch it. I forgot how we got onto that from nuclear power. Oh, Angela's a very visual imagination.
She is good. I'm gonna have to watch this later.
But it's
That
true though.
sounds
Nuclear
completely inappropriate, but that isn't what I meant.
nuclear did get a bad rap because of that.
Yeah, but like you said, it was shortcuts and some. I
Right.
would like to think that America would, at the very least, have strict regulations and everything to ensure shit like this, or shit like Chernobyl and the other one do not happen.
Nobody
We
makes
have
reactors
nuclear
like that
power
anymore. They've
plants.
got
We don't use them anymore. But I mean, I can drive. Well, if I drove, it wouldn't take me 2 hours to get to San Onofre Nuclear Power Plant, which they dealt with cooling issues by building it in the water.
Right.
Well, let's also not forget that Chernobyl was a bunch of fucking communist yes men. They've even done the whole thing with the newer ones to where they're like, well, we don't want to put it on the water because we're going to look at a cartoon like The Simpsons and think something like that's going to happen. So
Right.
quite literally, they diverted like a water line to it and still had no problems because guess what? The fucking power plants have gotten better. And for
Yeah,
anyone
that's
who
what
wants to say that, it's like, oh well, blah blah. It's like, dude, for every nuclear power plant we didn't build and we've used coal or natural gas that has a fuck ton of carbon emissions and shit into the atmosphere, it's your bitch asses did nothing about.
And honestly, if you want to know the truth, those carbon emissions don't really matter.
Yeah.
That's
Cause
plant fuel.
exactly, the plants are using it. So
Yep.
all right. So I'm pretty sure the Earth has been around for, let's say,
6
umpteen
billion years.
trillion years. Umpteen trillion years. Now, you can't tell me that our planet hasn't been bombarded with rocks from space and all kinds of shit, blasting all kinds of debris and carbon and fucking volcanic eruptions, just blasting shit into the atmosphere, and it's still fucking here.
Every volcanic eruption drops way more greenhouse gases, carbon, and a whole bunch of worse crap into the atmosphere than humanity could ever dream of in a decade.
Yes,
Here's a-
and we
here's a-
still have active volcanoes.
You want to have a fun thought experiment? Because I got one for you.
Go right ahead, lay it on me.
How many people die in greenhouses just from the air, just from breathing in them? How many
4.
reports do we see every year?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
say
I don't think I've ever
Maybe-
seen a report of that.
Got to be pretty
Maybe.
low, right?
a
Yeah.
little grandma with COPD.
How about
Which- The
How many-
greenhouse.
how many plants are destroyed by existing in a greenhouse?
Not many.
They'd have to be absolutely neglected, wouldn't they?
And some of them do really well in a greenhouse with neglect. So
Well,
Yeah, what- Back
Not
to
even
that,
that.
in a very hot and humid environment, basil will grow huge.
well, not even that. In a greenhouse, it's a self-contained ecosystem. Like,
Like the earth.
yeah, so it'll be fine. And then there are plants that require increased humidity and shit to arid climates to
Yes.
evolve or to grow. Fucking what is it? Cactus. They don't need much.
little bit
Now-
of water, a lot of neglect.
Yep.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, cactus actually might not do well in a greenhouse.
Probably
No,
not.
I'm
No, he's
I'm
saying-
not saying it. Just an example of a plant that does not need care.
Right.
Oh,
Little bit of
Grandma
water.
Forge. Grandma Forge kept lots of succulents in her greenhouse.
Now
There you go.
let's examine this on increasingly larger scales. So a greenhouse is a contained environment, self-contained environment in
Mhm.
general terms. Because it's not really, it's got a door, you go in, you go out. It's not very contained. It interacts with the environment around it.
Mhm.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's look at the planet Earth. Self-contained environment, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was some concern about the hole in the ozone layer letting in, what do you call it? God, what was it that was being let in? Harmful,
Violet.
was it
Ultraviolet rays.
ultraviolet rays?
Violet rays.
Yeah.
From the sun. So apparently that's not an issue anymore because we never hear about that anymore. We never hear about the hole in the ozone layer anymore, do we?
Self-patching.
Exactly. Self-repairing system, which is cool. That's kind of neat. But, do you feel warmer on a sunny day if you're outside?
Yeah.
So I guess the Earth isn't really an entirely contained or self-contained environment either, is it?
Because there's enough
It's-
outside
it's-
influence.
Right. Is that a reasonable assessment?
Yes.
Well, yes,
Okay.
because we're
Without the sun,
constant.
the
So-
planet. Without
so
the sun,
if-
the planet freezes. The moon regulates tides.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on there. And that indicates to me that because of the radiation and the solar wind and the gravitational and magnetic forces exerted by our planet, our moon, other planets, their moons, and the sun, that the solar system is kind of its own environment. It's got its own weather system, doesn't it?
I wouldn't say
It's-
weather
it's-
system,
it's-
but
Well, it acts. I mean, it acts like a weather system.
It
okay,
does.
all right.
So, I mean, I don't think
Radiation,
that's.
solar winds, other aspects of it, very
Yeah.
much like.
Yeah, it's very much like a weather system. So, I think that's not an unreasonable assessment. Does anyone else think it's unreasonable?
No,
Okay, let's raise the scale up again. Let's escalate once more to the galaxy. At the heart of our galaxy, we don't know for certain. We've never been there. We don't know, but we have evidence to suggest that it's pouring out oodles and oodles of tidal, gravitational, and what's the other one? Radiation type forces, energies, and so forth. That will probably affect all these different solar systems in some way or another.
All
Do
it
you
takes
think?
to have dumping metric butt tons of radiation is a single black hole.
Yeah,
Not to mention the different kinds of stars that are out there.
exactly.
that
So
wait a
taking
minute.
taking all of this into account, are we seriously going to sit here and say that straws and a couple of plastic shopping bags are going to destroy everything? That man-made global warming is a real thing when the Earth is constantly being bombarded by, even if it's just bombarded by rocks. Those rocks, when they enter the atmosphere, will give off heat.
And crumble.
Yes, all kinds of shit. Will
I bring
happen
up
with
the
that
same.
interaction.
I bring up the same thing. I know George Carlin did, and whatnot. And a
Yeah,
lot of people he don't like that. Like this one, it's like unless we legitimately blow up the fucking planet, the planet's gonna survive. The only
the
thing we're
planet will be
potentially
fine.
gonna do is kill the life on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
we won't
and
even
there's no
kill all the
evidence of
life.
that.
Might eliminate ourselves, but won't kill all the life.
Shit,
We're-
you wouldn't kill. Go ahead.
Planet predates us. We are completely incapable, both in existing technology and any, all but one reasonably foreseeable technology. We are incapable of destroying the planet. And the one exception to that is I'm pretty sure that Elon Musk could work out a near relativistic weapon at this point, and that would take you got to autopilot to get way out from the planet and just constantly accelerate to near speed of light for a ballistic impact with it.
Yeah, but how do you
The Death Star
accelerate?
of David would do it.
I was just about to say that, Tier.
I'm in your head, Angela. Don't worry. I'll make myself comfortable.
But the Death Star of David's
Zombie,
never been
zombie. Oh, okay.
tested on anything bigger than a city, so we don't know if it could actually pull off anything that scale.
Look, I'm pretty sure the Death Star of David could do it.
I don't
Well,
know.
I'm not going to bet against anything powered by Jugold. So
I'm just saying, when the environmentalists make all their noise, they always leave out the sun
Wait a minute.
and
Mitch,
and anything bigger that might affect us.
I
And the
just
s-
love
the
how. Wait a minute. I just love how every time, every so many years. Oh, we only got so many years left, and before it's the end, and whatnot, and it's always getting pushed back further and further. Oh, we have like 5 years to live. Yeah, 5 years just came up. Oh no, it was 12. It said 12. Oh, okay, well, your 12 will be up in 2 years. No, I meant 17.
My issue typically with environmentalists isn't the whole thing of like, oh, they got there into the world thing of like in so many years it's gonna do this. Oh, I guess I didn't carry the one right in this thing. I carried the two wrong, or something. And it's every time they bring up something like this, and they're like, oh, well, we got to do this and switch to this and that. And it's like, yeah, but you're not doing anything to actually make the technology better. Like we need to go to solar and wind. Okay, then
But
why
it's
aren't
not there.
well, hold on. It's then why aren't you advocating for the R&D for it to do better, for us to store energy better, instead of saying, "Oh no, change over to electric vehicles now," not, "Hey, we should be going to hybrids." Moreover than that, and then making sure we can make electric vehicles that can handle the weather we're gonna put them fucking through.
Well, not only that, you never hear them advocate for the acquisition and use of other forms of fuel. For example, there's a YouTube video I saw, and I've mentioned this in other places, so you may have heard it. But there's a YouTube video I saw where a guy burnt wood, and he let all the smoke, everything go, all the waste gases go up the chimney, and he would. This was a very complicated chimney, by the way. He would cool the gases down at different stages and let them funnel into different collection containers, basically 2-liter bottles.
Yeah.
And with one of those gases, he could run because it was a liquid. It was a liquid gas. It was a liquid fuel, rather. With one of those fuels, he was able to run an electric generator.
Not bad.
Nice.
So there are, if we capture and cool those gases that we burn and store them as liquid, we can use them as an alternate fuel source. So we don't always have to rely on oil.
Well, that's the thing as
And-
well that people aren't gonna like, is the fact that we're gonna have to loosen some regulations on some other places, and we're also gonna have to go against some seriously major high up corporations, which
Yeah,
means
absolutely.
politicians are gonna be super fucking pissed.
Well, all it means is that we have to start electing Americans to political office, not Democrats or Republicans, because they're not Americans,
Not
as
cor-
we've seen.
not fucking corporatists.
Right.
They're
Americans.
wannabe celebrities.
Yes.
Yeah, basically. They want to be celebrities, and they know that politics is essentially a get-rich-quick scheme.
Oh my god. Sorry. Because I just thought when you said the politicians and everything, and it reminded me, while I was at the gym today, I saw a dude who looked like a shitty doppelganger for Fetterman without the goiter.
Oh God, no.
That's unpleasant.
Oh, he didn't look.
Clones.
He did not look as retarded.
Here's an
Well,
idea.
who does?
You want to have fun? Here's an idea. I've seen people put this into practice after I came up with it. I'm not saying I came up with it and they heard me come up with it. I'm saying that,
You thought of it and then started noticing it.
yes. But my idea was, hey, how about we can rig every house that has rain gutters to use the rain gutter system to turn a generator.
Oh yeah, to do a
Instead of-
hydroelectric generator.
Yeah, instead of letting all that rainwater just run down a pipe, or actually on a lot of houses, it's running down like 3 or 4 pipes.
Yeah,
Or
why
if you
not?
have outbuildings in addition to your house, shit, there's all that surface area to get to collect, not even collect, but to divert the rainwater to a single pipe and let it turn a generator.
Yeah.
Why not
I
do
got
that?
one. I got a better idea. We why not have sewage water, filter it and use that to power a generator.
That too, actually.
Yeah.
It's just you're recycling the water. It's powering a generator and constant. Again, we could do that and again, it's underground, so it's not bothering anything.
What if you rig a system attached to every door in your house so that when you open or close a door, it spins a little generator? Just a little bit. It's not going to produce massive amounts of energy,
Mhm.
but if you have a solid way to store that energy, and this is where we need to
Oh yeah.
learn how to build better batteries, which that's about the one thing we're going to get out of the electrical vehicle thing.
Better batteries, capacitors.
Yeah, we're going to learn more about energy, and specifically electrical energy storage.
I'm all for that.
And And you're right. We have to loosen some regulations, because imagine if you can figure a way to catch the water and the rainwater and convert it to hydrogen, which is an easy thing to do. That's an easy conversion.
That
Yeah,
or
we
that
the
or let it do a
problem-
thing to where it divides. And I know
You
the
need to be careful,
Right.
Mitch, because
Oh,
now
I know.
we're gonna head into okay, this is gonna sound a little tinfoil hat, so I'm not sure I want to bring it up on stream.
Oh, do it.
Angela,
But
do you know who
Let-
you're
let her
talking to?
let her talk. Go ahead, Angela.
is on record that there was a man who patented an engine that actually ran on hydrogen, and then the man just disappeared. So.
Yep.
Yeah,
I know there are other interests that
a guy who
converge.
I went to high school with, he was a grade ahead of me. He did a lot of the charter fishing on Lake Michigan. They got to have quite a few of those guys. The bigger problem with that in some aspects is the actual added addition of more water vapor to the atmosphere.
It could.
Well,
I'm
there
just
is
saying I don't want Mitch disappeared. That's what
Oh,
I'm
I
saying.
mean, if
No.
you look at it, the way it should be for our vehicles is we actually shouldn't be using unleaded gasoline. We should be using leaded gasoline, and majority of vehicles on the road should be diesel because it's the easiest to produce. You have to do more work to turn it to gasoline than to diesel.
Right.
And with
Creating a-
with diesel, it's gonna run. It's like you're gonna have a longer or more powerful vehicles that can run longer. Like if
Yep.
I could ever do it, I think it's a fucking 3-cylinder. I'm gonna try to, if I ever win a lotto, import the fucking 3-cylinder diesel engine for my FJ Cruiser and replace all of that shit.
Have you ever heard of a velomobile?
No, I haven't.
No.
A velomobile is essentially a bicycle with a body on it,
Hmm.
with an aerodynamic body on it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I've heard of
It's
those.
usually more than 2 wheels, by the way, just because with that
Stability.
that body on it, you start dealing with weight issues and et cetera, et cetera. But with a velomobile, or with a bicycle, you can easily travel at in excess of 40 miles per hour under human power.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you have proper gearing and depending on whether
Well,
you're
yeah, I
going
mean, you
uphill,
can't just-
downhill.
You can't just slap it together and say, "Here I go." But because
Here
it's
I
more
go again. Oh, wait,
aerodynamic-
sorry.
But because it's more aerodynamic than just a person sitting on a bicycle, you reduce the wind resistance enough to reach those speeds without it being a huge strain on your person.
Yeah.
Now, that I think is a viable option for those short trips we take. Why start up the 6 or 8 cylinder engine car just to go to the travel a mile and a half to the local Stop and Rub to pick up a gallon of milk?
I mean, that's where mopeds would do really well in that as well.
Yes, and they even have electrical motors that charge as you pedal,
Mhm.
and then you can resort to the electrical motor. There are ways to do this stuff, but for one thing, they're too expensive. That's where
And-
you and I come into it.
And that's where it
Because if
falls
they
into that
loosen-
whole thing. If they loosen some restrictions and people were to R&D more, they could go through
Well,
and
that's
do
just
it.
it. A lot of the R&D needs to be in the hands of the people, not in the hands of a corporation. And I'm not saying that corporations should be disallowed.
No.
I'm saying that if I'm smart enough to come up with a way to separate gases to make different fuels just from burning wood, then I should be allowed to do so without any government interference.
Yeah.
Because, for example, if I have a way to make hydrogen and store it safely, the government will tell me that I'm not allowed to collect rainwater.
Yeah. Well, they already say you can't.
I
And
know
that
that.
whole thing.
That's what I mean.
So
which
which is why I have a meme somewhere, and I did throw it on Facebook, but I had to add a little thing into it. But weed's legal in Michigan. If you're gonna do that shit, go double illegal. gather rainwater and put it in your bong to smoke your weed.
Yeah.
Just make sure if you are going to gather rainwater, you actually boil that shit first and filter it probably.
Most likely. I'm just saying, there's a lot of ingenuity just in the public. You don't need a license. You don't need a 48-year degree from a piece of shit college.
Yeah.
All you need to do is to get out there into the world, start working with things, and experiment.
Hey, wait a minute. You also need a lab coat. 'Cause you don't
Sometimes.
have a-
Well, of course.
Yeah,
And
you're not a real scientist. You don't have a lab coat.
and Frosted, there are places that have rickshaws that aren't just in some Asian countries, and where those would actually probably work the best would be major cities in a lot of cases.
In some cases,
Say
yeah,
we
I
have
agree.
Yeah.
Downtown.
Especially like some of the
They're
yeah,
bikes
like
instead of just the people running, but we have them downtown for tourists.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not going to find me running. So, okay.
I mean,
Well, we're not
granted,
gonna
even
find you walking.
if it's bicycles or if it's people, wanting to do the running portion of it, and that we're also going to bring people's health back.
Yes. I mean, shit, I've been overweight most of my life. You don't know it from my profile picture because I hid it well. And
Well,
plus,
right-
that was after
right
I dropped a lot
outfit.
of weight. I dropped a lot of weight prior to that too. But I started riding a bicycle to work. I lived maybe a mile and a half away. I started doing that every day. And by the end of one summer, coworkers were asking me if I'm feeling all right. I'm like, yeah, why? It's like, I just noticed you've dropped a lot of weight. It's like, apparently I took on the look of a cancer patient because I dropped so much weight so quickly. But no, it was just driving my bike to and from work 3 miles a day, roughly.
And yeah, I guess YouTube did delete your prisoner idea, Frosted.
What was that? Burn prisoners for fuel?
Probably use them to run the fucking rickshaws.
Put
Put the fucking
Say,
put the goddamn
What?
blinders on them.
put them on put them on treadmills instead of treadmills with motors running them. Treadmills with generators built
running
into.
generators.
Oh yeah, they have the fucking treadmills that you do that will go at the pace you put them at. They could do it with bikes as well.
Yeah. There's all kinds of opportunities and alternatives out there.
I mean,
But none of these environmentalists ever advocate for that stuff.
you want to know a good place they could put like the pedal, like a pedal thing on that thing that could also help generate electricity? In elementary schools. Kids get fucking jittery instead of being like
Under the desk.
Yep, under the desk instead of being like you just sit there and whatnot. You let the kid, like if the kid's feeling jittery and whatnot, just let them fucking pedal, get some energy out.
Yep. And you might actually cut down on a lot of the misplaced rage in schools as well.
Yeah. I was saying,
But
going
we
back,
can't- We can't exercise good ideas in this country anymore. It's no longer allowed. Damn, Frosted. That's like my Frankenstein joke. You guys ever heard my Frankenstein joke?
I'm almost
don't
afraid to
remember.
ask now.
I just
Wait
know
a
when it
minute,
comes to like the weight thing, I need to probably drop 20 pounds. Because I'm noticing with my weight, when I'm
I
jogging and
need to bring a
whatnot,
few pounds. Yeah.
it's starting to throw onto my shins, and shin splints fucking suck.
Yep. And I swear, get a bike. It's low impact. And if you find a place to ride that's just right, you don't even notice that you're doing it because it lets you, it serves as a moving meditation too.
Well, I'm doing all this shit at the gym, so it's like I'm basically going and jogging for like 5 to 8 minutes on the treadmill with it at like a 2 incline, because if you don't add incline, you're not fucking doing anything.
Right. It's not the same though, because I think a gym, the environment is going to have a different effect on your brain than being out in the world.
Oh,
And I'm not saying you need to be out in the wilderness. I'm just saying anywhere where you can like look around and just notice things and turn your brain off a little bit. In a gym, I think your brain needs to be on too often.
Once
All right, so-
it gets past the winter and more into spring and everything, and it's not raining, sorry to cut you off, Tier, I plan on going back to running outside.
Oh yeah.
For I read Monday and Tuesday, my 2 days off. I go for a walk. I go for at least a 3-mile walk, and when it's summer and it's warm, I'm just thinking about, hey, this would be a cool idea for a story, or this would be a great idea for X, Y, and Z. And I don't even think about the fact that I'm walking. I don't feel it in my legs. I don't feel it
Right.
because I'm not. I mean, when it's cold, I'm fucking cold, so my
Right.
brain is all focused on that. But when it's warm and
Well, yeah, when you're out doing it, you do enter a meditative state in a way,
yeah,
and it allows
turn your
your
brain off.
brain. You turn your brain off, but what really goes on is your brain hits an autopilot kind of a stage, and it starts sorting things out for you.
Well, that's
So you don't
why
have to do it consciously, and it's a wonderful thing when you start recognizing it.
one of the things a lot of people don't realize, especially if you're getting into running. If you can get someone you can run with, and like go where you slow down your pace to widen out your stride and everything. But if you can jog and talk at the same time, holy fuck, you have no idea how fast your goddamn cardiovascular endurance goes up.
Oh yeah.
I started walking, and I when I first started doing it, it was tiresome. I could feel it, but as I got used to it, man, this is easy.
Oh, my Frankenstein joke. It's
Yes.
essentially this is so terrible. I love
Mitch,
it.
preemptively, I'm going to say you're going to hell for it.
I probably, but it's so damn funny. I'm just wondering if they make a Frankenstein movie and they include race swapping, does that mean his assistant will be named Nigor?
Igor, get the brain. No, excuse me. I can't be getting no brains, sir. I'm not calling you master. That's racist.
Exactly. I mean,
Oh.
it's a terrible. It's like Disney will never race swap Tarzan to be a black person.
Never. Fucking
Oh my
never. And they
God.
should. I want to see a black Look, these are 3 characters I want to see as a black man. I want to see Tarzan as a black man. I want to see Gaston as a black man.
George the Jungle.
George of the Jungle
Yeah.
as a black man. Yes.
You know what I like to? Sometimes I want to.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
go on. Go ahead,
You
Angela.
want to see Gaston as a black man?
Yes.
You really do have to come visit me for the Renaissance Fair one year soon, because a friend of mine from my guild,
Mhm.
literally his character is Gaston, down to they named him Gaston because he's that guy.
Really? Sweet.
Oh yeah, just totally
Is that it?
pompous, arrogant, and it's hilarious because he's actually really like the most down to earth, humble dude you're ever gonna meet.
Does anyone call him Gasta for short?
No.
Gustav.
No, they'll
Just
call
out of
him,
curiosity.
they'll call him gangsta because it's Hollywood. And Hollywood only knows
Okay.
one thing about black people. Sorry, go on.
I heard Tier say that he wanted a black Tarzan.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, haven't we had enough black folks swinging through the trees?
James,
No.
that's exactly the point he was making.
No. Tarzan is the Lord of the Apes. I want to see a book.
Hold on.
If you're going,
If we're gonna go through that whole thing, it's like with what you're implying, James. That's not black folks swinging through the trees. That's black folks swinging from the trees.
From trees.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
Oh, okay.
Very different
Yeah,
things.
different.
No,
If you're gonna make a hanging joke, at least do it right.
Yes.
I think he's saying that they're only swinging from nooses.
I
Again,
it went over my
Yes,
head.
it was a dark joke. I'm sorry.
It was
a black
joke, I get it.
I will say I do
joke.
like what Frosty put in there. Nigor went to the store for a brain and never came back.
Yeah.
That'd be normal.
No,
You know
hear me out. Hear me out with this one. All right, if they're in Africa, I think there should be a black lord. You know, he should be the Lord of the Apes. He should be a black man. It should be bum bum dum dum.
I'm going to go a step further because they used to say Tarzan the Ape Man, and
Yeah.
if they do it that way instead of Lord of the Apes, Tarzan the Ape Man. Oh my God!
Oh, the
Yeah.
trouble.
They're
Do
going to watch
you
Hollywood
in the-
explode.
do y'all in Black Panther the movie? This would piss me off to no end. There's a character Mumbaku. Technically,
Oh, the man-ape.
he should be man-ape, and they didn't make a man-ape, but they made his fucking tribe look like apes.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you know that in the 70s Tarzan, he had a little
a
boy
Jufro?
that was a, huh?
He had a Jufro.
No, the little, in the 70s series, there was a child actor, or that was his sidekick. And
Yeah.
it came from one of these native tribes. But and he was trying to teach him to be a civilized individual. There's a couple of times where he nods that if the boy doesn't start minding or quit being rude, he's going to get a spanking.
Damn.
Open, blatant in the 70s.
Well,
That's
didn't
good.
Tarzan also just call him boy?
Yes.
Like that's going to work
No,
out
actually, he
great.
had a name.
Oh,
He
did
had a name in the series. Yes. I
Okay.
just can't remember it.
I think it's older material where the kid was just called boy, and that was because
Yeah.
Tarzan with the broken English.
Also, like every time I
Yeah.
hear someone telling that one, all I can think of is the newer God of War ones,
Boy,
where
boy,
towards Dad of War.
Dad of War.
It's all better
Yeah.
than the old Shirley Temple kitty porn. Tarzan.
Oh God.
What?
I don't even think I
Shirley
want to.
Temple's mom turned around and made her at the beginning of her career had her daughter do this series of, and it was like the 30s 40s whatever, so it was the porn of that generation.
You.
But she did a series of Tarzan movies that were for their time child porn.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
her mother was on set with her while she was doing these movies.
No, that's no different than
Poor
today's.
kid.
Wait, is
today's,
this like the back in the day to when there were specific things of like kids, like even naked pictures were taken of them, but at the time it wasn't actually considered pornography because they weren't being looked at that way by everyone else other than pedophiles?
Like Brooke Shields and Blue Lagoon.
Because like they used to do that shit
Right.
back, like that's one of the things for that was about the author of the Alice in Wonderland series and whatnot. Like that used to be how they would do like fucking Christmas cards and shit. It's like, hey, Merry Christmas, here's a naked picture of my kid for some odd reason. Fucking
What a
shit was weird.
habit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
See, I don't know if.
But that was also back in the time. That was also back in the time frame that like a family friend could be a friend of the child's, and people
Right.
weren't like, "Well, I think they're trying to diddle them or whatnot." It's like, no, they're actually quite literally just a friend of the child as well.
See, yeah, that's
We've fallen from grace, haven't we?
we really kind
Well,
of have.
even-
I don't know. I would say we've decided to dive headfirst into the salacious. For some reason, we became obsessed with what other people are doing with their kids, or with kids in general, or whatever. look, we become, as George Carlin put it, a nation of obsessive diaper sniffers. We give children way too much credit. We spend way too much time thinking about them in general terms, never mind the pornographic that those people do. But in general terms, we become obsessed, and it's sick. It is it's incredibly sick. And where we are now is pretty much the same as where we were then. You know, we have the stage mom of the 1930s is no different than the mom pushing her kid to get a sex change or puberty blocker or whatever, just so they can have some clout socially.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Poor
the
Jack
same thing.
Jenny. Poor
or
Jack
that?
Jenny.
the children's pageant moms.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Or the parents that push their kids into acting still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even those asshole dads who want to go and punch a referee because their kid sucks at ball. At generic ball game number 3.
It's the
It's the
worst
same thing.
it's the worst call I ever seen in my life, ref.
And
Yeah.
then they start a fight.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same mental condition. We got to stop being obsessed with children. For one thing, we got to leave them the fuck alone. We got to let them learn some shit on their own.
Agreed.
I'm not
Mhm.
saying that we absolutely ignore them and let them, fall
Not
victim to
necessarily
every.
going back to the generation of the latchkey kid, which was me. Um,
I
Yeah,
say
they
Oh,
do
go ahead.
have to be able to go out, have a life,
Yes,
learn things,
they got to
teach them
climb a
enough to
tree.
defend themselves so that they don't become prey. But
Right. They got to climb a tree, dig a hole, and fall out of the tree into the hole.
Yeah, you
So
don't
that,
Climb is
so that they learn some shit that works and some shit that doesn't.
you don't need to be a helicopter parent.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I say,
Um,
hold on. Oh, wait a minute, James. I say we do this. We take Pokemon rules. You turn 10, you go out, you start an adventure. You survive, come back, teach you more shit. You die, you die.
I don't
I
think
had
so.
I was friends with a married couple. They had an 8-year-old daughter when I first met them. Okay. I would roughhouse with the little girl, and we'd wrestle. Birthday parties, we would. It was like I was an adopted uncle or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was, for me, it was nothing to pick the little girl up from school and middle school and all that. And I didn't realize, the parents thought nothing of it. I thought nothing of it. But
The school.
the school and the grandparents began taking issue with it.
Someone
Because
else
when she started,
is someone
yeah,
else being offended.
No, someone else being
yes,
salacious.
exactly. Because when she became 12 and then 16, I was still a part of their world, you know.
Right.
But then when she got into high school, she was like every other teenager. She got away from wanting to be around her parents' friends and all that. She grew out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one thought anything bad about it except for the people that had that mindset. Now, someone could have made the argument then that I was trying to groom her or whatever. Which this was before grooming and was a thing, you know. And I'm glad that no one made that because I would have whipped someone's ass over that.
Oh, God, yes.
Because I treated her like she was my own.
It's
And
infuriating.
yes, it is. But the only reason why I brought that up is because you were back then. Y'all were talking about the older days. Well, this was 20 years ago, in the 90s. you know.
Yeah. But even then,
So
the hysteria had already started to spread.
yeah,
Yeah, you already had the helicopter parents and everything. I mean, it's bad enough, all the ones that we see that it's like, the kids can't even go out and get dirty for like playing outside.
Right.
It's like, let
Right.
them be kids.
Yeah. Shit. For one thing, let them drink out of the hose.
Well, that's where
Exactly.
it's like,
Street. Shit.
I know, I don't think Monkeys made the argument and whatnot, but it's like, I know I've seen it before to where it's like, just because you're a parent doesn't mean that you know everything about kids. And
Nope.
just because I'm not a parent doesn't mean I don't know jack shit about kids.
Exactly.
Because like my argument on like, I've had a couple people that I went to school with, they're like, well, if you're not a parent, you shouldn't be saying anything about how to raise a child. And it's like, well, okay, I'm pretty sure your kid shouldn't be eating dirt and that whole thing. But okay.
Go right in.
but actually, if they are eating dirt, it's a first sign of a mineral disorder. Sometimes, most of the time, it's an iron disorder. So if you put them on a multivitamin, they'll quit doing that shit.
Well, plus, I may not be a parent, but I have seen a lot of parents fuck up.
Yeah.
And I have
Yeah.
the advantage of not being emotionally tied to the situation like a parent would be. So I'm not, what do you call it? Or
You have a
so
different perspective.
I have a greater chance of being objective about it.
Yes.
So, today I'm like, hey, you know what? Go build something with your kids. You want to start being a good parent? That's all you got to do.
Oh,
build
yeah.
something with your kids.
Yes.
Well, I was like,
Learn together how to. Yeah, my thing, because of where I live, this would work well here. Go out into the woods, find a bunch of sticks, and build a little house for squirrels.
Hmm.
It's a stupid thing. It's an easy project, but it's so stupid that it'll give you and your kids time to just sit there and bond without anything being an issue.
well, that's like, I remember the article that came out that was like boomers, or I think even plausibly some Gen Xers, but I think mostly like silent generation, being like, oh, well, these parents today, they don't know how to take care of their house and do all these other things and whatnot. And it's like, someone's argument was, well, they have better relationships with their children. And it's like, well, you could learn to do those things and then fucking teach them to your kids.
Yep.
I mean, granted, I kind of just figured out a lot of shit on my own, but a lot of it was done based off watching my dad do it. For
Well, yeah,
a lot of the shit I learned to build.
But here's the other side of that squirrel hut thing. Oh God, that sounds like a kind of underwear. But anyway,
Squirrel nut hut.
yeah, the squirrel house. The thing about that is it's inexpensive. You don't have to get any special equipment. All you have to do is follow some basic bushcrafting shelter building things that you can look up on and learn on YouTube.
Yeah.
And boom, you have a little project to do with your kid. It'll take less than a day. So the kid actually has a sense of accomplishment. And you've, as a parent, have all that wonderful time you spent with your kid, doing something with your kid that wasn't just correcting them or what do you call it? Trying to figure out if they're responsible for something that went wrong. It's none of that shit. It's just hanging out. That's how you be a friend to your kid. And that's how your kid learns shit. And that's how you strengthen the bond between you and your kid. It's stupid. It's simple. It's inexpensive. You don't need a government agency involved yet. And hey, you know what? You want to teach your kid to clean up? Make a game out of it. Maybe you and your kid can build the box this works with. Because kids like to take out all their stuff and play with it, right? All at one time. But then when it comes to putting it away, they're suddenly too busy. So you make a game out of it where you toss it in the box from across the room. See who can make the most.
Then as well, like if they're into a sport or something, actually go through, and even if it's one you're not a fan of, go through and legitimately learn shit about it and
Yeah.
promote actual development of said sport.
Right. And
thing.
even better, learn stuff about it with your kid.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get on the internet and see what we can learn about smacking a ball over a net.
Yeah, and then we'll go through and apply it. Okay, you're getting this part wrong, but you're getting, it's like, and that's the whole thing where it's like you can show what they're getting wrong, but you don't just say that's, hey, you're getting this wrong, get better. The stereotypical of the black parent of, you know, the typical just yell at you for what you're doing wrong, or saying the question over and over, like that's somehow going to make the kid learn it.
Yeah.
Legitimately just go through and be like, all right, you missed it here, you got to do this whole thing.
Or,
Be
you know, hey,
involved
well,
there.
that didn't work. How else can we do it?
Yeah.
You know, that roof didn't stay on the squirrel house. What else can we do?
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got to do. It's not complicated. You know, all these, the problem is Dr. Spock. The problem is child psychologists. Because, you know, their interest is not in helping you raise a healthy, well-adjusted kid. Their interest is in getting you addicted to the shit that they write
Yep.
and publish. That's what their interest is. Make no mistake. It's not that fucking complicated. You want to hang out with your kid, you got to adopt some of your kid's interests, even if they're not your own.
Mm-hmm. And then don't force your own interest on the kid as well.
Right. Introduce them, sure, but force them? No. Don't live vicariously through your kid. Support your kid in what they want to do. Help them to learn how to do it well.
Oh yeah, that's why learning an instrument's a really good thing for that. Because then if you don't know it as well, be like, ask me like, hey, what's an instrument you want to learn? Okay, you want to learn that? Well, I'm going to learn this one, and we're going to learn together. Because then it's like if they want to if they want to learn guitar, you learn bass, or you learn the drums. That way, it's like you're still both learning something. You could even learn the same instrument, but you can do something where it's like you both get to jam.
Yes. Because
Well, that's I've read some shitty books in my time. Not because I was looking for those books. I do like YA fiction. But my kids were Twilight kids.
oh god.
Yeah.
Those
So
poor
yeah,
bastards.
Poor kids.
I read the whole Twilight Saga.
Ugh.
Because my daughters didn't read anything that I did not read as well.
You know, I've got a couple of nephews, my sister's kids. And they were growing up as the Harry Potter books were coming out.
Mm. Well, I read those to my kids.
And I never much cared for Harry Potter. Never got into it. But I'll tell you what, I was glad there was something out there that got those kids interested in reading. I was glad that those kids' parents and their grandmother, because their grandfather had already died, took an interest in what they were reading and read along as they did. Because you have to create commonality between you and your kid. You can't force it on them.
Yeah. Well, that was
there
like
were actually 2 sets of books that I bought when I got pregnant. And my roommate's mom gave me a complete collection, the complete collection of Winnie the Pooh.
Groovy.
But I bought the full section, the full series of the Narnia books, starting from the Magician's Nephew through the last book. And I bought the Harry Potter books that were out at the time.
Right on.
And I read my kids from all of them, starting when they were born.
That's sweet.
Dad, 12 squirrels burned to death because we forgot to add a fire exit.
Frosted Glass, you are a treasure and never change.
Well, guys, I am going to have to step away.
Alrighty.
All right.
It was good talking with y'all.
Yeah, good to have you back.
Have a good night.
Oh,
well.
wait, James.
Yeah, as I pointed,
Rest
you
well.
did. Yeah, the as I pointed out, the second round, 2 dozen more died because the door only swung inwards.
Oh no.
naturally. Oh, Jesus. Anyone have a drill? I've got an itch in my ear. And it's deep.
Ouch.
I'll also accept an ice pick. There we go.
I still thought it was funny because one of my best friends, like, he's got kids, and his son and his daughter are both into wrestling. And like every time he brings that up, I was like, "So, have you called my dad?" And he's like, "Why?" And he's like, "I was like, my dad did wrestling for fucking years in school. Like, he actually went to state and won it once or twice. Like, I'm pretty sure he would love to help out with that."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I keep forgetting." He's like, "And I keep fucking reminding you, but we don't
Pick
talk
up the
as
phone.
we don't talk as much because I work a different fucking shift than you do."
It's incredible that people will rely on experts who really have different motivations.
And
know,
aren't experts.
What's that?
And aren't experts.
Well,
Yeah.
Here's the thing about psychology. It might apply on a broad basis. You know, the
Maybe.
kid's acting up because something's bothering the kid. Okay. Yeah, that's easy. But you can't just, oh, the kid's acting up because his sunglasses melted and you wouldn't buy him a new pair on a Sunday when the clouds were mild. You know, that doesn't work. That's unless the kid told you that. And even then, it may not be entirely true. There may be bigger issues at hand. You can't trust
I
these
had to
people.
buy all my own sunglasses. Thank you very much.
As did I. But I actually saw one. God, it was one of those celebrity "I'm a whiner, get me out of here" kind of scenarios. It was hosted by Dr. Drew Pensky.
Who?
Okay.
Dr.
Dr.
Drew used to
Drew.
work with Adam Carolla on MTV's Love Lines.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
Anyway,
Exactly.
You guys have seen him. If we showed you a picture, just look him up. You'll
Yeah.
see a picture.
just look
You'll
up
know who we're
Dr.
talking
Drew.
Well,
I
I also will
guarantee
say
you-
this, and I think I brought it before. I
Yes,
didn't
I
have MTV for most of my life because we
Lucky
didn't
you.
have cable.
Exactly.
Good call.
Monkey's been talking about him recently because he's changed his mind on a lot of stuff, and he was talking to
He's become more
whoever.
Adam Carolla like.
Well, he's definitely far off the Fauci bandwagon now.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
But Monkey's been talking about him quite a bit lately.
Then I just don't remember hearing that one.
Yes, Frosted. I take long walks. It's very weird. But he
But
used to
do you
host
take
a
them
show
off a short pier?
sometimes.
Done that once.
I believe in exploration. But Dr. Drew once hosted a show that was I think it was like Celebrity Rehab or something like that.
It was Celebrity Rehab.
Okay.
I was
It-
just thinking about that show, actually.
And one of the so-called celebrities, because I think this was a celebrity so minor that the reality shows forgot about him.
Mm.
But he was doing an exercise, Dr. Pensky was, where, beat up on this car with a sledgehammer and get the subject matter, the thing that's pissing you off about whatever, out of your system. And one guy's complaint was quite literally that his mother wouldn't buy him a pair of sunglasses when he was a kid. It's like,
The fuck?
if that's the shit you're complaining about, fuck you. If that's the shit you're complaining about and you want to blame that for driving you to addiction, it's not a disease, by the way. There's no pathogen involved. It's a behavior. There's a difference. I'll die on this hill. If
And
you can't,
I
if
always
you
feel
can't-
weird on that whole thing because they're like, my parents didn't do this when I was young, and it's like, yeah, I had a lot of that shit. You know what? And I honestly don't remember most of it.
Look,
Yeah.
wait,
Like there's a
wait,
few
what's the
things that
saying?
I don't remember. There's a few things that I'll occasionally remember, but I look back at them now and laugh. And I'm like, I don't know why I was being such a bitch about it. Like I know why I was at the time because I was a kid and I didn't know no better.
Yeah.
What's the saying? Learn to build a bridge and get over it.
Pretty much, if you're
Get
in your
off the
late
cross, we
20s
could
and
use the wood.
30s, that too.
Yeah.
But if you're in your late 20s, early 30s, and you're blaming your parents not buying you sunglasses for your addiction, fuck you.
Oh yeah, you're just
You
nothing
know
but a
what?
piece
If you're
of shit.
blaming it for anything, fuck you. If you're still thinking about it, fuck you. Here's something you might want to try. Grow the fuck up.
Look, you're an adult. Buy all the sunglasses you want with your own money.
Yeah.
You know, excuse me. I never owned. What is the one thing I've never owned that I was? I can't remember it. It's so minor now that I think about it that I have like several of them and I fucking can't even think of what they are. That sucks, honestly.
You blame who you blame? Which one of your parents are going to blame it on?
I don't know. I would blame it on my father, but he's dead. And I would blame it on my mom, but she's dead. Huh.
I don't
But
have any
again-
of that. Like I'm just in the whole thing of like
Oh,
I'm happy to not have to wash my dishes by hand because the dishwasher that I have in my apartment actually fucking works.
but it's just the saying that, people, oh, you didn't do this for me when I was younger. Well, you're an adult now. Do it for your fucking self.
Right.
You have the money to. If I wanted to right now, I could go out and get anything I fucking wanted. If I wanted 6 pairs of sunglasses, if I work for them, I'm gonna get me those 6 pair. It's just so fucking dumb.
The thing about Celebrity Rehab is it illustrated how emotionally weak some of those celebrities were.
Yes.
And the networks, they'll lick that stuff up for the drama value, but it's really giving you a window into human weakness. And that's the part we should probably be exploring how to fix. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, that was my dryer.
Rod, I think your clothes are dry.
Yep.
That's the,
Well,
I don't know. I think they are. You might want to check that.
I
What if-
had
Well, I wasn't able to know exactly when it was. I'm not going to try to edge my dryer, okay? I'll edge the microwave like a normal person. I'm not fucking sitting by my dryer trying to edge that bitch.
Say, Frosted, if what you want's at the DMV, you're
Get in line.
screwed 80% of the time.
What were you going to say, Angela?
it's okay.
It wasn't emancipation, Frosty, you dick.
You want a pro tip? If you want to
Frosted
worry,
or
if you want to worry about how long it takes your clothes to dry and wasting energy, throw a clean dry towel into your dryer with your wet laundry.
Also, if you're dating a woman and you're at her house or she's getting a shower and you're there, tell her to give you the towel, throw it in the dryer, and have her holler at you when she's done, and you bring her a warm, dry
Uh-huh.
towel.
from the
Yeah.
oh.
You have a high chance of getting laid.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, let's
that
face
would
it.
be absolutely heavenly.
Let's face
Oh.
it. If you're at a gal's house and she's taking a shower while you're there, you're probably already getting laid. Not because she's
Yeah.
taking a shower, but because to clean
She's
herself up for the
comfortable
sex.
enough.
She's comfortable. Yeah,
I mean, to do a little bit of a callback, hopefully she's not geysering vomit.
there is that.
Oh.
Yes, I was listening to Minions earlier.
Cantaloupe. Oh my god. To be fair, that is the first thing I thought of, and I was going to reference it, but I'm like, wait, that was the other show. It's simple though. We complicate things, and I think we complicate things as an excuse to not do them. Look at this Halloween bit that I keep threatening to release on my Rumble channel that I haven't utilized in several months.
Oh, I've still got the
Hey,
whole
old
thing.
man.
Like, I need to pick up more of the stuff around my apartment. It's not that I have trash and like fucking dirty dishes and food and shit everywhere. It's just I have like mail that I've taken out of my mailbox and I toss in my apartment before I leave for work, and then I don't pick it up off the floor in front of where I put my shoes
Yeah,
because it's mail.
Uh,
I need to
like
spend.
the,
I need to start
leaflets and
spending
shit.
like. I need to start spending like 10, 15 minutes a day, practicing guitar to actually try to get better at it. But I don't because I hate doing shit in the morning most of the time.
You need to spend 10 to 15 minutes a day practicing guitar. You need to spend 10 to 15 minutes a day just doing some simple organization and declutter.
You need to spend
And
about
then
5 to 10 minutes a
probably-
day doing practice and drawing and dry fire practice.
And I should spend 10 to 15 minutes a day practicing sketching to see if I can actually get better than almost convincing stick figures.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of things I need to do.
That's why.
I'm
Okay,
late.
I'm going to make myself very clearly known as a nerd to those who didn't realize I was one already.
Wait,
You're a nerd.
you're a nerd? Don't tell me
That's
next.
a lie.
Next, you're gonna tell me you're into D&D and like the Renaissance Fair.
Next, she's gonna tell us she's a woman.
I actually, when I start to feel like I'm becoming unproductive, and I'm thinking about doing it again now, I use an app to build my use of build habits that'll help me become more productive. No, I was not going to ask if Rotten's clothes were done. But it's called Habitica, and it is literally like an RPG where you build your character up and collect animals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's a
stuff
role
like
playing
that.
game. For a second, I was thinking rocket propelled grenade.
Oh, no.
Well, it's
Um,
like I had a
Frosted, I've completely crushed you.
I do a similar gag with initialisms in one character I've created for a piece of fiction. He had what's called a master key. And with this master key, he could use anything that was akin to a doorway. Basically, a closed loop of any kind, any shape. He could use that master key to create a portal through which he could travel to different times and places.
Hmm.
And
So Doctor Who?
in a manner of speaking, but a completely different operation. The master key was not a magic wand.
Okay.
But anyhow, what was I getting? One of the gags, and it might have been a running gag, but it wouldn't have run very far or very often, was that he would be in modern times, essentially, talking about STDs and how he used STDs to get things done. For example. And
Oh,
here in the modern times, that for us that means sexually transmitted disease. But for him, it's a space-time doorway.
Ah!
Mm.
All that reminds me is the South Park episode with Jared
AIDS.
Fogle, AIDS. Oh, you mean AIDS?
Yeah, AIDS. That means AIDS is funny now. Yeah.
Well, you remember AYE? I think it was AYED. No, AY. Yeah, AYEDS. It was a diet medicine, basically. It was like a diet chocolate that you eat. called AIDS
Not
to help you
offhand.
lose weight.
Yeah.
Right
Guess
before
what
the
AIDS?
epidemic.
Guess what AIDS? To lose weight.
Yeah, take AIDS to lose weight.
I mean, there was the whole thing back in the day where it's like you could get a tapeworm mailed to you, so you could use that to lose weight.
Yep, that was
Oh,
actually a common thing centuries ago.
Uh-huh.
That's horrific.
That's fucking scary.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go ahead and buy your tapeworm today, right next to the X-ray specs.
The part that freaks
it
me
really
out
worked.
Why
is
don't we'll just
apparently
go walking barefoot in the pig trough?
it would eventually just work its way out of your system, and it had the option to leave through the mouth or the butthole.
Ugh.
Ew.
And it's like, which would you prefer?
Neither. I don't. Ew.
I would
Fuck it.
prefer not to have parasites. Thanks.
I tell you what, I prefer to cook my fucking meat. Is what I prefer.
Ew.
I mean, it's only like pork and chicken that you actually want to cook all the way through.
Right.
Beef is okay not to, or it's like red meats are okay not to, as long as it's not ground.
Yeah.
And that's one of the
Well,
things a lot of people don't realize.
Rare burger is disgusting. Anyways, the texture.
Yes.
Is weird.
As long as it's gotten to the right temperature, it'll have killed everything. But I'm not doing what some of them do, where they want to do that,
It's
like basically
not about it
sear.
being- okay. When I was a kid, well, I have anemia. I have a specific type of anemia that requires that I eat red meat at least twice a week. But it was so bad when I was a kid that my doctor had my mom feed me raw meatballs when she was cooking with hamburger.
Ugh.
Ugh.
And
At least
so
try 'em.
rare hamburgers kind of make me gross
Whoa.
out.
Damn, the last time I had anemia, they just gave me iron pills.
No kidding.
It
If
was
they have.
really, it was really bad. Like I was in sad shape.
And did this doctor also prescribe leeches for bloodlettings?
No.
Okay.
No, that was for jock itch.
he wanted to balance Angela's humors, you know.
Oh yeah. I swear to God, if you look at some of these crazy ass Karen / mothers
Mhm.
out there today, I swear to God, the people behind the hysteria machine were onto something. I'm convinced that and it's not just for women, but men too. I think the human race needs a good, healthy dose of post-nut clarity.
Okay.
Because there's too many of us just going fucking stupid.
Well, it's that whole thing of like, we kind of need to bring shame back, and not just shaming others, like kind of shame
our
of
own
oneself.
Yes.
Make shame sexy again.
Well, they've already done that. That's a full-blown fetish, if I'm not mistaken. Well, no, that's humiliation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking about shame. I'm talking about the if you do this, you'll disappoint grandma type of shame.
Yeah. And
I
you'll
don't
fucking
want
hear about it.
anybody making me think of my grandma during sex. Thank you.
It's
Ew.
not just a sex thing. It's in general. We have our society needs
Well,
an
no,
enema.
I was talking about humiliation. You went there
Yes.
originally, and then
Then
Well,
we
yeah.
stayed there for a minute, and now we're moving on.
The gene pool just needs some Clorox.
Something.
No. The gene pool doesn't need. See what it is. This is what we need. You know.
Yeah, this
these
isn't nature, it's nurture.
No, and these people need to learn that your degeneracy will not be tolerated.
Yes,
You
that's
know,
the nurture part.
I don't care what you do in the privacy of your own home. You want to dress like a rabbit and spank your ass with a goddamn blubber paddle ball all fucking night? Go right ahead. But you come outside, you better not do that shit.
Yeah, it's like drugs, isn't it?
Well, there are things you do in your home that are between you and whoever you do them with.
And you, whoever you do with, and your god of choice.
It really is on the same level as my take on drugs, because I think they should all be legal. But you know what? Stay the fuck home. Get your snacks or whatever else you think you might need ahead of time. Throw your car keys and your house keys into a timed lockbox so that you can't leave, and enjoy your fucking high.
And you
You
can
know,
get
but
so
there
high
are-
that you trip with Jesus.
You know, but there are functioning drug addicts. There are functioning crackheads.
I
There
don't
are
care.
functioning-
First,
know,
give me a second. I gotta talk to Frosted.
Oh, Lord Jesus
Number
Christ. Frosty, what the
one-
fuck you do?
That last thing is between you and your shrink.
Dr. Drew.
I don't think the shrink
And I
wants
don't
to talk
want
to
to
him
know
about it.
how often you think about me and meatballs. Thanks.
Nobody
Nothing
wants
for-
to know how often Frosted thinks about you and meatballs.
I need an adult in the room right now. I just
I don't want to know how often Frosted thinks about most things.
Here I am the adult in the room.
We're all the
oh
adults in
god,
the
we're
room.
fucked.
Hey, it could be worse. It could be me.
Oh god, we were beyond fucked at that point.
Rotten, you're not the one that said you needed an adult.
I mean, I'm not even out of fart jokes.
I mean, in that whole situation, like if you look at it, it's like we are technically the adults. Like I need an adult, but you are the adult. Oh God.
Oh Lord. What have I done?
Thank you for giving me Dragon Ball Abridged flashbacks.
You ever cut a fart that makes a stranger sweat?
Oh God, shut up.
What?
Sorry.
Farts are good.
No, but I have had one so good it got rid of a stomachache.
Oh, yeah.
So have I. Yeah.
I swear one time I farted and it was taller than me.
I farted and I cleared the room. Everybody laughed. Cat, roaches.
I always love
All
the
of
little
them.
videos where they do the old joke or whatnot, where it's like something like, "Oh man, I got a fart. I think I can cover it with a cough." So you're gonna be like, "Blah."
See, y'all went here, and I'm just thinking about a video clip I have on one of my clip feeds on my YouTube channel, which has Satsu and Monkey during their gaming talk about actually worked out that somebody did the science to work out the speed of a fart.
What?
I still
What?
like the
No,
review of the
no.
thing to where you can. It's the giant gun like thing to where it's like it will shoot like an air bubble. Basically, someone like, can you actually shoot a fart at someone? And this person like responded back to like, yes, you can. I did it across my own wife and damn near made her vomit.
Damn.
Next favorite joke I ever heard on that one's like, you ever fart so bad that you make three? It's like three mothers have to check their kids, make sure they didn't shit themselves.
Damn.
Wow.
I like George Carlin's fart
Fart
jokes.
so bad. So bad you could strip the varnish off of a goddamn wall.
Foot Locker.
Yeah, Foot Locker, where you check your fiber intake. You are not required to eat an entire wicker
You ever fart so bad that it turns the plants in your house yellow?
No. A fart so bad it could end a marriage.
Yeah.
God rest Carlin's soul. Oh man.
The guy really was a verbal. He was a linguistic master
Yes.
when it come to comedy. He really was. He was brilliant.
Some of his takes are retarded, but hey,
Well, yeah, but
He was a liberal.
he was, but he wasn't a tyrant.
Yes. Well, no, in his younger days, he was a liberal. In his older days, he became much more, fuck everybody.
Yeah. Well, he saw what I saw, what you saw, that our political system is fucking rigged.
Mm-hmm.
Rigged.
You know, everyone talks about the vote for president like that means anything, because it doesn't. Right in the Constitution, our vote for president means nothing. That election is chosen by electors, not by the people.
And it's one of those things as well. It's like you really ought to be looking at your local elections.
Yes.
Yeah, pay attention to local elections is why Michigan's got such crap government right now. Is those
Yep.
local
Well,
elections.
Michigan likes to do that whole thing to where they'll fuck up for a long time and then we'll elect a Republican to come in. They fix a bunch of shit and people are like, oh man, things are looking really good. We should bring a Democrat in.
Yeah.
Well, it's a life cycle.
And we're getting Canadian socialists and communists these days. Even it's like we can't even get some decent bad actors. We gotta get the bad actors.
Yeah. No doubt. It is kind of a life cycle, but the truth of the matter is that the Republicans are just as bad.
No, Frosted.
Oh, damn. Now that's a question with fucking layers. All right. That's seriously, that I love a joke that's deeper than you might at first.
At sea
suspect.
level.
Yeah.
Frosty,
There was I forget who did the joke, but the joke was you know when you get the microwave popcorn, you put it in the microwave and you pop it and you're left with a couple of kernels that didn't pop. Those are the ones with integrity. Jokes like that, I love them.
Then the question is eating popcorn gay? I mean, you're literally eating a busted nut.
That's true. Hey, you know why men don't try to go down on their wives first thing in the morning?
Oh no.
You ever try to open a grilled cheese sandwich?
Oh God, I've heard that joke before. Ugh.
Ain't that nasty as fuck?
Too.
Yes.
That's the kind of thing. You call up your father-in-law, okay? And without preamble, you tell him that joke and then you just hang up.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Hey, granddad, got a joke for you. You tell him that joke, then just hang up.
Yeah.
You have to have a very certain kind of relationship with.
Well, how do you think you
people
build
to
those
tell them that
relationships?
Exactly.
I mean, it's better than going to a strip club together. Because that's the last thing I want to know is what gets, my older relatives, whether they're in-laws or not. I don't want what gets them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing I need to see is grandpa having a Woody over Trixie, the 19-year-old college dropout with 6 kids.
You know an awful lot about your strippers.
Hey, she's just paying her way through college.
Yeah.
That's what she's telling herself.
She's paying her way through addiction.
Now, all that reminds me of is how
you.
one of my other old coworkers in the military, it got used on one of his awards of how he was supporting single mothers and everything. And they somehow worded it and they're like, well, what was he doing? Oh, he was going to the strip club.
Yeah.
And he told, and like when he actually brought up, like, oh, wow, you spent that much money. And like, they're like, yeah, this whole thing. He's like, oh, and like after he won the award, he goes, wait, this was for the year? I thought this was just for the quarter. And they're like, what?
What do you call a fat chick with a rape whistle? Optimistic. Oh, that's terrible. I love it. The what was
Well, just remember, we'll go to a cleaner joke on that whole thing. Just remember, fellas, I'm pretty sure most of us have a pair of cargo pants. Never put snails in the pockets. Then they become escargot pants.
oh god.
Oh boy.
Okay, I've got to remember that one because I've got a coworker who will love it.
Rod, your pun is punny.
I actually
took-
I actually took that from fucking Aub or whatever his name is from that does a bunch of shit on like for Wilson Combat.
I gotta drill a hole in my head, let the evil out.
Like he went over all the shit he would carry in his like gray man vest that's basically a cameraman's vest of like a photographer's vest, and all the shit he would carry in the vest and in like his cargo pants and everything, and then he ended on that joke, and I'm just like, okay, that one was funny, but you were carrying way too much shit, man. Like if you gotta run, that's gonna suck.
Shit, I carry a lot of shit in my cargo pants. Those are literally
They have medications for that.
no.
They have diapers for that now.
I carry a lot of stuff in my cargo pants because you never know what you need at work.
That's true.
You just carry a lot of stuff. God,
Yeah, never enough pockets. That's one
yep,
thing.
never enough pockets.
My favorite coat growing up had literally like 10 pockets. I'm like, well, it's only 2 shy of what it needs right now.
Oh wow.
Carried everything in that coat.
Carlin was hilarious.
Yes, he was.
It's such a wonderful body of work.
What?
George Carlin.
George Carlin.
Yes, he did.
Especially when he joined the counterculture.
Leave, follow, get out the way. You know what I do?
I obstruct.
Okay, I love it.
Honestly, I hate that shit too.
Carlin is part of my comedy holy trinity. Young Eddie, the son,
Young who?
young Eddie Murphy, the
Okay.
son, Richard the father, and Carlin the Holy Ghost.
I don't know. And Red Fox is in there too.
Oh, Red Fox. If we had to do it that way, Red Fox would be, would have to be the Archangel Gabriel.
Yeah,
Red Fox was fucking hilarious.
he really was. And it's too bad that that we're stuck thinking of Fred Sanford when we think of Red Fox.
No,
If you know what I mean, because
when I
his
think of Red
stand-up
Fox,
was fucking brilliant.
yes, but when I think of Red Fox, I think of them coming together to do Harlem Nights, so he had money.
Yeah,
Like the only reason why they did Harlem Nights was to get Red Fox a movie so he could get some money.
yeah,
Like and that was fucking amazing.
I agree.
Green
used to-
Badger Outdoors. If I'm wearing at my size, if I'm wearing a photographer's vest, I've probably got 3 guns and about 800 rounds of ammo on me. And you're not going to be able to tell.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Bob Newhart, Norm Macdonald. I mean, each of these people were notoriously good in their craft.
Yes. Comedy
and
today isn't the same.
each of them were wildly different in their craft, and they're fucking brilliant though. Yeah, Dave Chappelle, another one. There's a Robin Williams.
Yes, Robin Williams stand-up was fucking amazing.
Never get over his skit on golf.
I will never get over
Oh,
this skit.
God.
No, this is my favorite one of his skits. when he talked about how Osama gets to heaven, and you see it's George Washington standing there with a small bed. How dare you seek to destroy what you created? He beat the shit out of Osama, and the 71 other members of the Continental Congress start kicking his ass. Wait, where are my virgins? It's 71 Virginians, you asshole!
Was a mistranslation. It's not 71 virgins, it's 72 Virginians.
It's like, find out thou shalt not kill. Actually, thou shalt not kill. And the officer go like, shit, look at that, gets all along, you think you? I love Robin's stand-up when he wasn't being the genie or kid-friendly. It's fucking great.
He was a genius.
Yes, and he was taken from us too soon.
I agree. Well, he wasn't taken. He sort of walked out.
He checked out too soon.
And it's both sad and infuriating
Yes.
because he was how do I explain this?
He was good at his craft. He could make you laugh.
Well, yeah, he was a master at his craft, and he didn't even have to be fucking nutty to be a master at his craft, if you see what I
Yes.
mean. Because if you look at one of the last scenes in Good Will Hunting,
Mhm.
Robin Williams improvised. When the guy left a note that said, "I got to go see about a girl." Matt Damon left that note, and
Mhm.
or Will, I guess. And Robin Williams gets the note, looks at it. Son of a bitch stole my line.
Well,
And it's so understated, and it is fucking hilarious. And it's beyond that, though. It's beautiful. And I liked seeing that kind of a Robin Williams in comparison to his hyperactive prancing on cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eddie
Yeah.
Izzard, before he went... Eddie Izzard did go nuts, too, by the way.
very.
He's gone batshit crazy. You guys ought to watch a show called The Green Room. Yeah, I think you can watch it on YouTube. There's you have to put up with a shit theme song, and some of the comedians they have on it are garbage.
That's a
Kathy
lot of
Griffin,
shows.
Janine Garofalo, these people are garbage.
Uh,
But you also get like Drew Carey, not Dennis Miller, is another Miller. I can't remember his first name. Damn it.
Steve?
No.
I don't
Damn
know.
it. He played Edwin Poole on Boston Legal.
I don't know.
Tells me
Oh.
nothing.
Larry Miller. But Larry Miller's been doing stand-up and been on a variety of TV and in movies. He's a that guy. You know his face, but if you hear his name, you may not recognize him.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Gesundheit.
But Tommy Chong Tommy Chong talks about when he got arrested for all that shit and he had to go to prison.
Mhm.
The police are at his door, and he said it was like a Hollywood movie of what an arrest might look like, because there was a white cop, a black cop, a Mexican cop, a Chinese cop. And he's like, he's telling the story. They asked me, "Do you have any drugs on the premises?" And he said, "I'm Tommy Chong." There's probably marijuana in every fucking room of his house.
I still love the Willie Nelson joke of for him talking about marijuana. He's just like, I've only known one person to die from marijuana. I think it was like Bill Maher. He was talking to her. Someone like, who? He's like, yeah, this one guy. No, I can't remember what his name was. He's like a big ass 300-pound bale fell on him. It's just like,
Mhm.
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
never smoke weed with Willie again.
See, I'm actually against the use of marijuana, but I'm not pro legalization because, my decision is for me and not for anyone else, right?
Agreed.
But I look at the use of marijuana, the culture that built up around it, and I see a government that wants to control people, and what better way than to vote to legalize marijuana?
Hmm.
Because people who take a lot of marijuana, especially now with the potency, quadrupled or more,
Yeah. Specialty strains and everything.
they're I think at the extreme end of marijuana use, when it's too much, people do start to become stupid.
Oh, typically the
Easy
ones
to control.
that become stupid with are the ones that make it their whole fucking personality.
Right.
Yes.
The ones that now when the advocacy was going on for marijuana use, the people bounced around, man, the Constitution was written on hemp. And I'm like, one draft was written on hemp.
Yeah, Constitution is written on parchment, which is why the document in its original form still exists.
Right. But I let them give their spiel, and I'm like, look, why don't you just admit that you want to get high?
I'd have more respect for you.
The Constitution was written on hemp products and hemp this, hemp that, and fucking medicinal purposes. Like, just admit that you want to get high. For fuck's sake, there's nothing in the Constitution that gives the government authority to tell you can't get high. So just admit that you want to get high.
The only reason
Rely
I
upon the
pot is to
constitutional.
sleep.
What's that?
The only reason I use pot is to sleep.
Well, yeah, it does work for a lot of people for a lot of different things.
It makes me really tired. Like,
Yeah.
I will pass out within 20 minutes. I can't hold up my head, which is great when I am having an insomnia.
Right.
Yeah, insomnia streak. So,
Agreed. And it's got to be better than taking some of those fucking whatever pills that the doctor would prescribe.
very much.
I mean,
so.
especially after this shit with the vaccinations, you think every other medication is suddenly safe? I don't. I think prescription medications are probably the most at risk for
Abuse.
containing hidden ingredients. Hey, we're all very well and proud of ourselves for knowing that we shouldn't take that vaccination. But no one's asking what's being added to the other vaccinations that take place regularly, are they?
Great.
Yeah,
Now I have
that's
to be
true.
concerned about what they're putting in my insulin. Thanks a lot, Mitch.
Wow. Thank you, Mitch.
You have to worry about that stuff now. I mean, they did it once. They got away with it.
Yeah.
What makes you think they're not going to expand the program?
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Why do you think they burnt down a couple? Well, this is where I get into tinfoil hat territory, but I've also found that if you assume the worst of your adversary, you're never wrong. And in
Well,
this
I
case,
brought up the foil hat with the hydrogen.
Oh, yes. But in this case, the adversary is people who are pro-tyranny. And it's never wrong to expect the worst of them.
Mm-hmm.
So would I be surprised to learn that all those food production plants got burnt down recently because they wouldn't play ball with something that a government agency wanted to add to the food?
Yeah,
That's
Would you be surprised to learn that that's the case? Because I wouldn't.
now that you mention it, I might not be surprised. It's just a really disturbing thought. I mean, it adds layers of disturbance to the realization that hit very early on that they were all deliberately torched. Anyway,
Right.
These were not accidental fires; these were arsons.
Or were they torched in order to build new facilities that could more readily fuck with our food? that would be, I don't know, easily upgradable to adding the cockroaches.
Oh.
Eat the bugs. Eat the bugs.
Look, I already
Right.
eat the. It's like I eat the creature that eats the bugs.
Yeah, the chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are doing our part.
We're not going to skip links in the food chain, motherfucker.
Hey, it's why a friend of mine didn't eat corn. Is like corn is chicken food. You don't skip the chicken.
That's why I don't like vegans. They're eating my food. That's
Right.
not cool.
Exactly.
Well, that's only one of the reasons I don't like vegans. Their intolerable superiority complex, while they slowly waste away to malnourishment, is another big turnoff there.
Yeah.
Look, I'm eating healthy. Okay.
But don't you want to live to be 100? In the words of Gabriel
No.
Iglesias. Well, hold on. In the words of Gabriel Iglesias, not if I can't have tacos.
Yeah, it's like,
No.
if I have to live like you to live to be 100, I'm fine dying in my 60s or 70s.
Look,
Yeah.
I'll quote another comedian in that whole thing. Like, people bring up the whole fact of like why you shouldn't eat these things. Of like, you know, people won't eat like pork or whatnot because of moral or religious reasons. I won't try Islam because of pork reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
Straight,
I ain't giving up
for
bacon.
Nobody.
Well, there's
no.
a reason that I only keep kosher for holy days.
See, there you go, Angela.
See,
Yeah, I
and
got no issue with that.
Look,
I
I got
just-
no problem with anyone's religion. Just don't force that shit on me.
Well, you can still have a problem with Islam because it's not actually a religion. It's a political system masquerading as a religion.
Yeah,
Most religions are, though.
they really are. I mean, there's plenty of evidence to suggest that most religions are just an exercise in controlling other people.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
Green Badger. It's usually safer to overestimate your enemies than underestimate them.
That's just in general.
That's why I have a high success rate in my predictions of what the evil fuckers will do next. Is because I
Yeah.
don't underestimate them. You think Biden's going to be on this ticket? Fuck no.
I'm telling you, it's going to be Newsom. They're going to push Newsom.
I fucking hope not. That piece of shit shouldn't be anywhere near any fucking goddamn political piece of power.
Which means it'll probably be him.
Yeah, he shouldn't be on the ballot as the local dog catcher. So I mean,
He ought to be on the ballot as the local shit picker upper because that's what he's fucking left everywhere.
I've already dealt with that shit heel in my state. I don't need to.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with it on a federal level.
Though I won't lie, every time he fucking makes some dumbass posts on Twitter, I love how he gets drugged through the fucking mud.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he gets ratioed.
But you know, the way
hard.
Twitter is, Twitter just looks at that as engagement
Yeah.
Yeah.
and gives him more reach as a result.
yeah, but the difference is with him, he gets more reach, and it just expands the group of people to pound him into the ground.
I know that. You know that. Elon Musk apparently doesn't care.
Well, that
Why
it's
should
it's
Elon
farming
care on
engagement.
that?
Well, no, because look, Elon Musk is fucking allowing all those different bots and fucking, what do you call it? The new money. What's the new money called?
Crypto?
Crypto. Thank you. He's
The
allowing
crypto
all the
bros.
sex bots and all the crypto bros to infiltrate Twitter, essentially to artificially inflate the user numbers. They're fluffing Twitter or X or whatever the fuck we're calling it this week. Then
We're calling it Twitter.
I'm going to call it
X.
Twitter because
it's still Twitter.
screw your dead naming outrage.
Oh no, it's still Twitter. We're still getting shadow banned. We're still we still have no recourse for it because the more it's pointed out, it seems like the more it happens. So did you really think Elon Musk gives a fuck? Hell no. He got bored with his little marketing trick and he's moved on to other things. He's left that the World Economic Forum hack Linda Yaccarino in charge, who is pro tyranny, by the way. Freedom of speech, not reach, is tyranny. Why do you need an algorithm when people can get followers to determine how much reach someone gets?
Agreed.
Why? What other purpose is there behind that other than to silence some people and amplify others?
Oh, it's that whole thing of like, why does like YouTube go through and not push people who have actual sizable audiences because they talk about things that YouTube doesn't want them to.
Right. You know why? It's so that they can blame the algorithm. Well, the algorithm was invented and written by people.
But you know what gets me? We'll take.
Oh,
Go ahead. I'm about to say this what gets me about the YouTube thing. YouTube was created on user-based content. Like it was described as television.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know, if Rodden's channel brings him the audience and he gets it, why not promote? Because again, it's bringing eyeballs to your platform.
Well, you don't even have to actively promote.
That's true too.
You could go through, and the only thing an algorithm should do is say these are channels that are popular, and have it a different list each month in descending order. Most popular shows up on the first of the month, and the least most popular shows up at the end of the month.
Hey, I'll give you one more than an algorithm should do.
Okay.
An algorithm, like on YouTube, aside from saying, hey, overall, this is the stuff that's showing is most popular on the platform right now, should do these are some channels that are similar to channels that you've been watching a lot recently.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, hey, you've been watching a lot of Long Island Audit recently. Have you looked into
Lackluster,
Audit the Audit,
We the People University,
Donut Operator,
Donut Operator.
I'm still surprised. I'll still openly admit,
MC Tyrant Hunter.
I've been surprised the fact that I've been getting recommended different gun tubers, and normally they don't fucking let gun tubers get promoted at all.
Well, that's probably because there's not a big anti-gun push happening right
for now.
I guarantee you, for everything that's an issue that is a recurring issue.
Well, no,
YouTube has the.
I can actually say that against you in that whole thing, because there was, especially after that Colorado or the Kansas City shooting. Although I think is
that another one of the shootings that didn't fit the narrative, so they dropped.
Oh
it?
yes.
Yep.
But still, people at least now people are going with the whole thing of laughing at the cop for the acorn.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm not. That shit's funny in hell.
Should be in jail.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, yes.
Absolutely.
I'm watching
Both
that
of those
video.
cops should be in jail.
They were shooting right at each other too.
It is absolute sheer luck nobody was injured.
No kidding. Or killed even. But
like that's the kind of luck that only retards and children have.
But yeah, no kidding. That's what the kind of thing that algorithms should do. But I'll guarantee you that YouTube has the software equivalent of an on-off switch when the subject is pro-life.
Probably.
When the subject is pro-gun, pro-liberty. They turned that. I bet you they have a software equivalent where any one of their people can just go in and shut it off because today it's an issue.
I'll still say, and I've said something similar to this for fucking years, if when the whole adpocalypse thing first originally happened and Susan wasn't trying to court the fucking regular TV networks for some dumbass reason, if she'd have been like, hey, these are the rules, as long as you're not breaking these actual things, these are words we don't want you to use unless it's in this proper context of like education and whatnot, we'll let you have ads, and we'll even go one step further. We'll use things like this, and the advertisers can choose the types of channels they want to be on.
And
Well, yeah,
that's
I
what it
think-
should have been.
That
I
is
think-
absolutely what it should have been.
What did I call? I think I called it ad lib. Ad lib is a concept I came up with where content creators and advertisers essentially meet in the middle via dating site software. Okay, basically you put in your channel name, your as a content creator, you put in your channel name, what kind of products you'd be happy to advertise, what kind of products you do not want to advertise, or what companies you don't want to
Yeah.
advertise for. And the company that's paying for the advertising does the same thing. You know, Pampers may not want to advertise on a pro gun channel, for example. And then just let all the players choose with whom they wish to associate.
And the next biggest thing is, in my
Since you're
opinion,
pro-choice.
if you're gonna do a non-skippable ad, it cannot be longer than 5 to 6 seconds. Period.
Yeah. Let the advertiser and the content creator determine the type of ads they want on their on
But
the
then
system. On the system, basically.
But then because of saying, going the whole in the middle thing, it always pops into my head, the country song. So you could just say that, with the advertisers and the creators, I'll start walking your way, you start walking mine.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
I don't know if anyone else will get
And
that
then-
reference.
We'll
And-
meet
I
in
love
the middle. Eat that old Georgia pine.
Oh, we're gonna start singing. I already fucked up the Kefke song tonight.
I sing all kinds of the time. I am the autistic jukebox. Really.
Me too.
Autistic
actually.
jukebox.
all of us sing. It's just majority of us don't sing well, and I'm pretty sure I'm in that category as well.
Oh, you
have-
actually sing really well.
I
But
never
that's-
claimed
doesn't
to
it-
say,
And I'm proud of it.
I never
Isn't
claimed to
it-
sing really well, but
Ooh, that's a fart.
you
Thank you
hope.
for sharing that, Mitch.
Sorry, it just. I'm sorry, it just came out.
Clearly.
Quite literally.
No, but isn't it interesting that
Well, if he'd have kept it in,
Advertising
it'd
outfits
turn into
like-
shit that he said.
I find it interesting that Google Ads seems to be there as a hammer to destroy instead of as a tool to build between advertisers and content creators.
Oh yeah.
I find that honestly, as an advertiser, I would not want to give a third party company control over where my ads play. I wouldn't be giving fucking Google
Well, I mean,
and
seriously,
YouTube
if they
control over that shit. What the fuck is wrong with these
if
people?
if Google would have been like, look, Susan, no, instead we're gonna do it like kind of like I said in that whole thing for the advertisers, majority of the people that even could get super chats and whatnot probably wouldn't give a fuck about having to give 30% to fucking YouTube, and YouTube would almost always never be in the red.
That's right.
Like it'd be very rare because people would want to use it because it's getting promoted.
Right.
And then, yeah, guess what? People can quite literally have a living off here and don't have to do other shit.
Once again.
Yeah.
Now look at
I'm still pissed about that for what happened to Monkey, Drunkle, Sinatra, several
anybody.
others.
anybody, even if
Yeah.
it's fucking Miles.
Ian Miles Strong.
No.
Milo Stewart.
No, Milo Stewart. Thank you.
Yeah.
Even if it's Milo Stewart is a fucked up individual. All right.
But they have the right to say what they want to say, and it's their fucking
Yes.
channel.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
and
it is.
if Milo Stewart can monetize in
So,
that way, if
for it.
advertisers want to jump on that bandwagon, that's not up to me. That's up to Milo Stewart and whoever wants to advertise on Milo Stewart's content.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yes.
fine. I'm not part of that equation. Nor should Google be. I'm fine with Google providing an infrastructure since they're hosting the videos.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the form you fill out to see what kind of channels you want to advertise on of, content of this length with an advertisement spot of this length. place that beginning, middle, or end, whatever, and where my choices as a content creator match the choices of an advertiser, boom,
And then
everyone's happy.
And then you also have the whole thing of like, here's a general one that you can have to where we might have like ads aimed at children or just ads aimed predominantly adults, because you should be able to click on that whole thing of being like, no, my content is not for adults or not for children. And YouTube be like, well, I think it is. Bitch, if I told you my content's not for children, I fucking mean it.
Yeah, exactly. Because we know as content creators, we know who our content is for.
Mm-hmm.
Someone like Primitive Technology.
That's for anybody.
Yeah.
He doesn't fucking talk. Like, that's just cool.
Exactly. There's no how do you say it? There's nothing salacious or God, it's another S word, scandalous going on there. So yeah, that's for everybody. And he knows it, and I know it, and you know it.
Mm-hmm. But
and you want to know this big secret here? Google knows it too.
Yeah.
But Google wants to use advertising as a bludgeon to make people behave a certain way. And I got to tell you, I am never going to say that somebody unalived themselves. Epstein didn't unalive himself. Fuck you. Epstein didn't kill himself.
Epstein did not commit suicide.
I'm not going to shy away from language just because YouTube is a big, fat, giant pussy fart.
Yes.
Fuck them.
Well, again, it falls in that whole thing. Every time I put on there, my content's not meant for fucking kids. Like, and suicide shouldn't be that taboo of a word. Unless you're trying to promote someone doing that shit.
Right, exactly. If suicide is, if the word suicide is taboo, then that just means that YouTube doesn't want to take a hand in being part of the solution.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
on
that note of solution, I think we're going to call it because it's been almost 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah, we've been...
Yeah, I'm starting to fade.
Yeah, talking into the voids are a lot like when we do the midnight show. They just fucking go.
Yeah.
Depending on who we have on there, yeah, we'll just fucking go. And again, this is another one we barely fucking talked about movies.
And we don't have a Terry to
remind us.
Yeah.
We gotta go away.
Yeah, I was looking at what we had to do. So next week, obviously there's the midnight show. There's also all of the different minions that you can go and watch. I think the only day that doesn't actually have someone that does something is Tuesday. It's Tuesdays. Yeah. But that's a big whatever. And but next week we will be reviewing the movie 8mm.
The snuff films.
Isn't that is that J.J. Abrams?
No, that is the Nicolas Cage film from the late 90s, to where he's a private detective trying to find out if the snuff film is real.
Oh, okay.
Isn't J.J. Abrams a director?
It's
possible.
But
he did. I think he did one called 16mm, but
I think 16mm was like a superhero thing type thing or whatnot, or superpowers or some shit. Superpowers or aliens or some shit.
Well, whatever. It was an Abrams film, and it was a space monster in a train car that derailed.
Okay, this is definitely not that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage as a fighting a space monster. I've seen it. I've watched it.
But we're gonna get out of here, folks. Have a good week. I have no idea if there's any actual holidays or anything coming up. Hopefully I can get a video out about something. I haven't had anything call out to me. I would have loved to have done some gun stuff, but I didn't go to the range like I should have. But that's the way it is. So I guess I'll go with it. Any parting words?
I do want to thank the people that have donated to my GoFundMe so far.
Yes, I've shared that one out because I'm broke. But I'll share that shit all day.
Eh,
Thanks.
What a word? The final word. What do I got? There's the one I didn't use on the minions.
pot the kettle. That's my final word.
My final word is no one with anything to be sorry about smiles at the back end of an elephant.
The
Will, you got anything? I don't remember if you said anything.
Does.
Go with the old classic. Remember to have your loved ones spayed or neutered.
Oh,
I'm gonna go with the meme I have up there in that whole thing. 9mm versus 45 ACP or any other caliber doesn't mean anything if you can't fucking hit what you're aiming at.
Damn straight.
life's a buffet. Don't fill up on bread.
And avoid the salad bar.
Avoid the salad bar. Agreed.
I like the salad bar.
Later, folks. We're out of here. That. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Join us again next week, or you can check out the other people in the panel in the description and see us again plausibly on one of their channels, or just check out what work they've done. Have a good week, everyone.